It's Kate. I'm making a video from the Griswold Memorial Library today because I wanted to show people how to use some microscopes that we have available at the library for people to borrow and take to their own homes and use. They're part of our library of things. So I'm going to make 3 videos today. In this first video, I'm going to show you the 2 types of microscopes that we have and show you how to use one of them. I'm going to make a second video that shows you how to use the compound microscope. It's a little more complicated. And then I'm going to make a third video to show you how to prepare your own slides to look at with the compound microscope. So that should be pretty cool. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what microscopes are, first of all. Micro means small, and scope means instrument. And so a microscope is an instrument that you can use for looking at really small things. You can use other types of devices to help you look at small things. You can use magnifying glasses to help you look at small things that you can't see as well with your own eyes. You can use a magnifying glass to look at things, like a seashell, and you can see the ridges and the parts of the shell a little bit more closely with this magnifying glass. But if you wanted to use a microscope, you can look even closer, which is pretty cool. So we have 2 types of microscopes here at the Griswold Memorial Library to lend to people to use. This one right here is called a dissection scope. And it has these 2 eyepieces right here. It has a base, and on the base is this plate that's right here. And I will show you a little bit more about how to use this microscope in just a minute. But I also wanted to show you the other microscope we have. This microscope right here is called a compound microscope. It has more parts, and it's a little bit more complicated how to use it. So I'm going to make another video after this to show you how to use that one. But for right now, I'm going to talk about this dissection scope. And so you would use a dissection scope like this to look at items that you can, that are big enough you can already see them with your own eyes, but you just want to look a lot closer at what the item is. And so you could use it to look at a rock. You could use it to look at a piece of wool, or a seashell. Or I found these apple blossoms I thought would be fun to look at, or some moss, or lichens, these kinds of things. Because this dissection scope has, here's the lens I can take out, looks like this. There are 2 of these. These are times 10 power, and so whatever you're seeing is going to be 10 times. You're going to be able to see it 10 times larger through the lens than you can with your own eyes. So this is for looking at things 10 times larger with your own eyes. The compound scope is used for looking at items that you can't really see very well with your own eyes, because it magnifies the item to a larger power. So back to the dissection scope. If you want to look at something on this, you can just place it on the plate like this. If it's something you think is going to blow away, or you can use these clips to hold it down, but I don't really need to use that for this apple blossom. I can just put it right down there. And then it's helpful to use a light. And so I'm going to turn this light on. Some microscopes actually have a mirror, and you can move the mirror around to adjust the light, but this one just has a straight light on here. And when you're using a microscope, you always want to make sure you have it set down on a solid surface, like a table is a good place to use a microscope. Because some of these pieces, if you tip this to the side, these pieces can come out, and we don't want them to fall and break, because these are lenses. They're pretty expensive to replace if they get broken. So we want to be able to look at that. And then what you do is, it's good to start, I like to start by turning the knobs here and making this whole component here, making the whole eyepiece component come down as far as it can go. And then I'm going to use both eyes to look in these lenses. If it's hard to look with both eyes, you could close one of them or the other, but this has 2 lenses, so you can look with 2 eyes. And so then what I'm going to do is when I look, it's probably not going to be in focus. It's probably going to be blurry. Let me see. Oh yes, it's very blurry. I can't see anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look in here and I'm going to turn the knobs and slowly turn and turn these up until the item comes into focus. So here we go. I'm looking. I'm turning the knobs to make the item come into focus. Getting closer, but it's still pretty blurry. Oh, now I see. Now I see the leaves. And if I turn the knobs down a little bit, I see the stem in focus, and the leaves are still blurry. If I go up more, I see the leaves in focus, but the stem is blurry. If I go up a little higher, it's all blurry. I'm going to see if I can move this item a little bit to see the flower, because all I see is green. I don't see any white flower. Okay, I'm going to go down again, and I'm just going to continue. I'm going to kind of move this around. Ooh, now I can see the flower, and I can see all the parts of the flower that are really hard to see with my own regular eyes. I see anthers and stamens, and I think I see little bits of pollen probably on that, on this little flower bud as well too. And all those things I can't really see very well with my own eyes, but I can, if it's magnified by 10 with this dissection scope, I can see it really well. So I hope that you can get a chance to borrow this dissection scope from the library at some point and use it to look at things that you find from nature or in your house. It can be fun sometimes even to just look at your own hand and your skin or your fingernails. It could be fun to look at different foods like bread and see what bread looks like if you look at it with times 10, what it normally looks like with your eyes. So anyway, this is something that you can borrow from the library, and I hope you're able to enjoy using it sometime soon.